The Alabama defense did a cosplay of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on Saturday. Any team that has some amount of success against Alabama, people tend to make hyperbolic statements. They say the defense is bad or Alabama is overrated, but rarely do they simply give the other team credit for playing really well or acknowledge that sometimes Alabama just doesn't maintain consistency on every single play, and sometimes they go through lulls. Against Florida, those very things happened. Florida's offense executed very, very well, and the Alabama defense stopped doing things well that worked early in the game. I think some of you forgot that Alabama was up 21-3 in this game, and we're still not going to disrespect Florida. A lot of you came into the game not respecting Florida to begin with, so when the game ended the way it did, you devalued Alabama rather than elevating your perception of Florida. So you kind of had like a bias there already against Florida and like who they were, and so you use a little bit of confirmation bias to make your point about Alabama in the end. So I think Florida's going to win a lot of games this season, even if they, well, like I say, especially if they play with that effort they played against Alabama every game. I'm going to show you what I noticed about the Alabama defense at the line of scrimmage, specifically in this game, because I think that's going to play a big part in what I have to say. So, but before we get into that, first, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and then turn on the notifications if you want to see more content like this in the future. So in the first play, over halfway through the first quarter, we see Florida running a quarterback option with Emory Jones, which gave Alabama trouble later in the game. On this play, much like most of the first half, the defense played well. Watch Will Anderson shrug off the pulling blocker coming to his side while maintaining leverage on the outside. Jones has nowhere to go as he knows that Anderson can stretch him all the way to the sideline. And this is how you maintain the edge and force the quarterback to turn back inside toward the linebacker and whatever DB may be coming to help. The defense looked prepared and motivated on this play. So later on, at the end of the first quarter, after Alabama has gone up 21-3, we see Florida running another speed option with Emory Jones. This time we see Will Anderson getting blocked and walled off inside leverage on the lineman on the right side of the offensive line. He can't maintain the edge, and the option has free reign to do whatever it wants to at this point. Notice that Henry T is also being lackadaisical about his pursuit. The right tackle has gotten all the way upfield and cut off Henry T's pursuit angle well past the first down marker. He is in no position to read or follow the quarterback here, and this leaves only the DB, Brian Branch, to play the speed option going to the offense's right side. He has to be accountable for the QB and the running back, which is why he comes up in between the pitch space of the two. I'm pretty sure he was expecting some help from Henry as well, but as we know, he is well out of the picture and can't help. And this is not how you play the speed option. Unfortunately, this lack of intensity would carry over to the second half as well, and what contributed to the comeback of Florida when they were executing their offense much better at that point than they did in this first quarter. So a little under 11 minutes in the second quarter, we see Florida running another speed option with Emory Jones and the running back to the left side of the offense this time. If you notice, Drew Sanders crashes down inside at the snap, which gives Florida an advantage on the edge because at best, Sanders would be able to catch Emory if he keeps it. And that's only if he keeps it. The good news is that Henry T is playing his assignment well this time, and he follows that option play. He impresses me here because he not only discourages Emory from keeping it and cutting upfield by breaking down in his speed on the inside leverage of Emory on the option, but he also displays some speed in being able to accelerate once Emory pitches the ball to the running back. He catches the running back and makes the tackle, although he may have gotten away with a horse collar here, as you can see. Theoretically, he should have been able to do this every time Florida ran the option, but as Saban noted, it seems the defense started losing intensity around this point, and from what I saw, I didn't think they played with much discipline as they did at the start of the game. And this compounded in the fact that they started playing more plays and also got tired. It was a recipe for disaster, and against Dan Mullen's running quarterback offense, as I call it, that just was not a good idea. So the last play I'm showing you actually occurred a couple plays before the last one that I showed. So this is just under the 13-minute mark of the second quarter, but I think this play also is indicative of what happened later in the game defensively. As Alabama got tired, they rotated more guys on defense, specifically at outside linebacker. On this play, Chris Broswell is in at left outside linebacker, and he's wearing number 41. Watch how he plays the edge here on this quarterback draw. Notice that Florida has spread Alabama all the way out here to the right side of the field, and they put a trips formation to the right side of the offense as well, meaning that Alabama's most experienced players on defense, the secondary, are all stacked up in a corner on the right side of the field, so they can't help at all with what's going on in the middle of the field. At the snap, Chris Broswell steps forward and is met by the pulling left guard of Florida and gives up the outside leverage completely. The problem here is that this is a quarterback draw with Emory Jones, who isn't slow. So Drew Sanders, who had a fantastic speed rush off the outside shoulder of the left tackle, couldn't get there in time, and Jones was able to take advantage of the fact that Broswell didn't set the edge on the left side of the defense. If Broswell maintains outside leverage, Drew Sanders catches Emory Jones here for a loss. And the lack of experience on the field and the fatigue combined with Dan Mullen's offensive scheme and play calling caused Alabama a lot of trouble as the game progressed. So on account of these things that I have shown you, I didn't come away from this game worried about the Alabama defense at all. These are all things that can happen to you in the early season when facing a good offensive scheme and you lose focus against a good opponent. Saban will definitely use this as a moment to reinforce the process with the players, and we should see some improvement here. But having an off performance doesn't mean you are a bad team or a bad defense. With that said, what do you think? Are you worried about the performance? Do you disagree with what I said? Like I said, I'm not, but we will see how they respond in the next couple of weeks for sure. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that Ole Miss game to see what happens. But if you enjoyed this video, you can click on the video here to the left to see what the YouTube algorithm suggests that you watch based upon your viewing habits, or you can click on the video to the right. It's the last video I made, which I talked about Alabama's offense against this game against Florida. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.